Is my water here? My water you brought? No. Okay. Okay. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit. Adi-Lila, chapter 4, I think, huh? The confidential reasons for the Lord's appearance, beginning with text number, I was told 176. Okay, is it? Hmm. 179, okay. Somebody. Okay, 179. Se pratigya banga haila gopira bhajane tahate praman Krishna Sri Mukha vachane. That promise has been broken by the worship of the gopis, as Lord Krishna himself admits. So text number 180. Na pareham niradya samyujam swa. All right, go ahead. Swasadu krityam vibudaya sapi va. Yamabhajan durjaya geha srinkalaha samrishcha tadva pratiyatu sadhuna. So this is a very famous verse from 10th canto. O gopis, I am not able to repay my debt for your spotless service. Even within a lifetime of Brahma, your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties, which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:32-22 was spoken by Sri Krishna himself when he returned to the gopis upon hearing their songs of separation. So this is very famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, where Krishna is explaining, even although he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead with unlimited opulence, he's unable to repay the gopis for their love and service. Even Krishna himself is unable, although he has unlimited wealth, unlimited opulences, he feels himself incapable of reciprocating with the gopis. Because this chapter is very special. We've already heard how the external reason for Lord Chaitanya's appearance was to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. Jai Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. To inaugurate the Sankirtan movement of the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But now we're discussing the confidential reasons. Externally it was to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement, the Yuga Dharma. But internally there's another reason for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. Because even though Krishna himself, he knows everything, he has given Radharani the power to be able to surprise him at every moment. He knows everything, past, present, and future, but Radharani is able to surprise him at every moment. And her love is so great, even Krishna himself doesn't know what she experiences. Because when we're experiencing, somebody's presence, we're experiencing it. They're just giving their presence, but we're experiencing the presence. So the person who's giving the presence, he doesn't know what the person who's experiencing the presence feels. So even though Krishna knows everything, he doesn't know how deep, what is the experience that Radharani experiences? What is it in him that she sees that's so amazing? Even though he's the Supreme Personality of God, he knows everything. He doesn't know these things. So eventually there's or probably maybe we've already passed it. It's a very amazing verse that where he describes all these things that he says, iti lobat. Loba means greed. That we always talk about ourselves. We are greedy, we're lusty, we're angry, we're so many things, all these bad qualities. But here, Krishnadas Kaviraj has used this word, loba, in relation to the Lord. He was greedy to know the love of Srimati Radharani, what she experiences when she sees him, what is the joy that she experiences. He was greedy. Krishnadas Kaviraj has used this word in relation to the Lord. So this cannot be an ordinary loba like we experience. We're always very greedy. But this is a transcendental greed that even Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, who has nothing to attain, he has nothing to attain. We sing every once in a while, Om Purnam Marap Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudach. He's completed himself. But still he's greedy. Krishnadas has used this word for the Lord. He's greedy to understand this experience of Srimati Radharani. So that's what this whole chapter is revealing, this internal, this esoteric reason for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. Tabiye dekiye gopira nija dehe prita. Sehata Krishnera lagi janiya nischita. Now, whatever affection we see the gopis show for their own bodies, know it for certain to be only for the sake of Lord Krishna. The selfless love of Godhead exhibited by the gopis cannot have any parallel. We should not therefore misunderstand the carefulness of the gopis in their personal decoration. The gopis dress themselves as beautifully as possible just to make Krishna happy by seeing them. They had no ulterior desires. They dedicated their bodies and everything they possessed to the service of Sri Krishna, taking it for granted that their bodies were meant for his enjoyment. They dressed themselves with understanding that Krishna would be happy by seeing and touching them. So this is the inconceivable, selfless love of the gopis. As I was saying yesterday, we always enter into relation, what is in it for me? But the gopis aren't thinking about their own benefit. They're decorating themselves, they're combing their hair, everything they do is simply so Krishna will be pleased by seeing them. If they carefully decorate their bodies, just generally, people decorate themselves and try to make themselves look very beautiful or very handsome to impress somebody else. But they're not decorating themselves for their own satisfaction, that everyone thinks I'm so pretty. No, they're decorating themselves with this thought that when Krishna sees me pretty like this, he'll be so pleased. Everything they do is this we can't even begin to imagine. We don't do anything without thinking, what is my benefit in this, We're always very careful. They're serving up prasad. If somebody gets 2 gulab jamuns, oh, why did he get 2 gulab jamuns, We're always thinking of our own benefit. So we can't, the gopis' love is just totally beyond our comprehension. E deha kailun ami Krishne samarpan tanra dhamma tanra iha sambhoga sadhana. The gopis think, I had offered this body to Lord Krishna. He is the owner, and it brings him enjoyment. So the gopis, they have offered everything to Krishna, and they're just thinking, they're not thinking how much they will enjoy, they're simply thinking how to please Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. We make everything very complicated, but Krishna consciousness is very simple. Whatever we're doing, we have to think, I'm doing this for the pleasure of Krishna. Just like we get up in the morning for Mangala arati. It's not for our pleasure. I'd rather not get up. It's definitely for Krishna's pleasure. We're getting up. Whatever we do, we think, I'm doing this so that Krishna will be pleased with me. If you keep this little formula in your brain, whatever you're doing, am I doing this so that Krishna will be pleased with me? Or am I doing this so that my senses will be pleased? You keep this little formula in your brain, whatever you do, you just think, I'm doing this. I'm putting on this dhoti so Krishna will be pleased. I'm putting on this sari. I'm putting this bindi. I'm doing all these, whatever I'm doing. I'm raising my family so they'll become Krishna conscious. Whatever we're doing, I'm doing this business to give some donation to spread Krishna consciousness. Whatever we do, we just think, just add this little formula. Just think, everything that I'm doing, I just so Krishna will become pleased. We keep that formula in our brain, then we're always Krishna conscious. Simple. We make everything complicated, but actually Krishna conscious is very simple. Whatever we're doing, we're just doing so that Krishna will become pleased with us. E deha darshan sparse Krishna santoshana E lagi kare dehera marjana bhushana. Krishna finds joy in seeing and touching this body. It is for this reason that they cleanse and decorate their bodies. So every day we take our bath, we simply have to think, oh, I'm doing this so that Krishna will be pleased. This is Krishna consciousness. Everything for Krishna. Nijangam api gop nijajangam api bhagopya mameti samupasate tabya param name parta niguda prema bhajanam. O Arjun, there are no greater receptacles of deep love for me than the gopis, who cleanse and decorate their bodies because they consider them mine. So even Krishna himself is describing to Arjun, and he is certified that there's no greater receptacle of deep love for me than the gopis. Krishna is certified. These are the best devotees. Just like the whole one half of the Bhagavatam is just Narad Muni trying to find out the best devotees. And everybody goes to they say, no, there's somebody else. They're always pointing to someone else. He goes to the Pandavas. He says, oh, you're the best devotees. Krishna became your friend. He became your servant. He became your messenger. He's your everything. And you just say, hey, don't tell anybody we're devotees. We're not, then no one will become devotee, because we had to suffer so many things. If they know the devotee will suffer like this, then who will become? Don't tell anybody that we're the greatest devotees. So everybody told somebody else. So finally, Narad Muni came to the gopis. We know the gopis' love is completely selfless. Just like sometimes Prabhupada told this story that one time Krishna had a headache. So he told, and Narad Muni said, what can I do? What can I do? He said, hey Narad, only thing will cure this headache is if I take the dust from my devotees and place it on my head. And Narad Muni was very shocked. So he went to the Brahmins who were performing big sacrifices. And he said, oh, Lord Krishna has a headache. Yes, what can we do? What can we do? Well, Lord said that he wants the dust from the feet of his devotees to put on his head. Arati, Narada, what are you joking with us or something? If we put the dust of our feet on Lord's head, that's a big aparad. We're performing big sacrifices to go to Swarga and enjoy like anything. We'll go to hell for such a thing. What are you doing? We have no time for your jokes. Get out of here. So he went back and he told Lord Krishna. He said, no, you must find someone. So he went to all the sadhus who were sitting in meditation and performing penances and austerities. And he told, oh, Lord Krishna has a headache. Lord Krishna has a headache, what can we do? He said, well, he said he needs the dust from the feet of his devotees to put on his head. Arati, Narada, what are you talking about? We're performing great penances and austerities for hundreds of years. If we put the dust of our feet on Lord's head, then all our penance austerity will become useless. We'll lose the benefit of everything we've done so far. Get out of here. We don't have time for your nonsense. He went back and told Lord Krishna, no, it's very difficult. No, you must go. So then he went to the kings. He said, Lord Krishna has a headache. Oh, he has a headache? What can we do? Well, he told that he needs the dust from the feet of his devotees to put in his... Arati, Narada, are you joking or something? By great amounts of pious activities, we're kings enjoying like anything. Kings enjoy like anything. They have so many wives. They have so much opulence. And, just like there was one king of Orcha in Madhya Pradesh. There's one place called Orcha. And he went to Bisramgad in Mathura. And he had his ministers bring a big scale. You know, not like in your bathroom at home, but when you go to Vrindavan and buy your fruit, you know. So it was a big scale. He sat on one side. Now these kings were not ordinary people. You go to Jaipur to the, what do you call it? What's the name of the Jaipur Museum? Anyway, there's a very special museum that I can't think of the name. Just since COVID, I forget silly things. Anyway, you'll see Sawai Madhu Singh, his yogi pants are there, his pajama pants are there. And they stretch from here all the way to here. So these kings, of course, you know, he pulled it like this, but we can imagine how big these kings were. So he sat on one side of the scale. He had his ministers put gold coins on the other side. Just imagine how much gold that must be. Imagine at today's prices. Huh? And he was able to he gave that type of charity. That was just what he gave away in charity to all the Brahmins and temples of Mathura. So kings, they're enjoying like anything. They have so much opulence. Even they give out, so many hundreds of pounds of gold. Just imagine at today's prices, They were able to do that. They said, hey, Nardi, get out of here. We're enjoying like anything by our pious activities. We've, got this post as king. If we give the dust of our feet, then we'll lose all our pious activity. We'll lose our kingdom and everything. Get out of here. He went back and told Lord Krishna, says, no, you must, Everywhere he went, he got the same thing. So then Krishna told him, you go to Vrindavan and see the gopis. So Narad Muni, he went to Vrindavan and he saw the gopis and he said, Lord Krishna has a headache. Oh, Narada, what can we do? What can we do? Well, what can we do, Narada? What can we do? Tell us. Huh? Batao. Huh? Well, he said that he needs, what does he need? Well, he said he needs the dust from his feet to put on his head, dust the feet of his devotees to put on his head. Oh, Narada, take. The gopis were going like this. But you're not afraid? You'll go to hell for putting the dust of your feet on Lord's head? Let us go to hell. Long as Krishna is happy, we're happy. This is the love of the gopis. So Krishna says here, there's no one who better than the gopis at loving him. Which verse are we on? Oh, Arjuna, okay. Purport. This is a verse spoken by Lord Krishna in Adi Purana. Next verse. Ara eka adbhuta gopi bhavera swabhava buddhira gochara mahe yahara prabhava. Translation. There is another wonderful feature of the emotion of the gopis. Its power is beyond the comprehension of the intelligence. Wow. As I've been saying, this is beyond our comprehension. Here it's confirmed in this verse. Gopi gana kare yabe Krishna darsana. Sukha vanchana hi sukha hoya koti guna. When the gopis see Lord Krishna, they derive unlimited bliss, although they have no desire for such pleasure. When the gopis, they see Krishna, they experience so much bliss, but that is not their purpose to enjoy. Their purpose is to serve Krishna. Gopika darsane krishnera ye anandahaya tahaite koti guna gopi asvadaya. The gopis taste a pleasure 10 million times greater than the pleasure Lord Krishna derives from seeing them. So this is the confidential reason why Krishna appeared. Gopis are experiencing 10 million. So we can't imagine, this is just the gopis, but Radharani, what she experiences. That's 10 million times greater. So Krishna, he wants to know what is that pleasure that they experience. Purport. The wonderful characteristics of the gopis are beyond imagination. They have no desire for personal satisfaction. Yet when Krishna is happy by seeing them, that happiness of Krishna makes the gopis a million times more happy than Krishna himself. So even though Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, he knows everything. This thing he doesn't know. What do the gopis, what does Radharani experience in seeing me? What is that special thing? Even though he knows everything, he was greedy. Iti lobat. He was greedy to know this thing. Tansabara nahi nija sukha anuroda Tatapi badaye sukha padila viroda. The gopis have no inclination for their own enjoyment, yet their joy increases. This is indeed a contradiction. As I was saying, how are we going to understand? We can't understand all these things. We just read them and hope that somehow we become purified by hearing all these wonderful things. This is just way over our heads. Evirodera eka matra deki samadana Gopikara sukha Krishna sukhe paryavasana. For this contradiction, I see only one solution. The joy of the gopis lies in the joy of their beloved Krishna. For this contradiction, I see only one solution. The joy of the gopis lies in the joy of their beloved Krishna. Purport. The situation of the gopis is perplexing. For although they did not want personal happiness, it was imposed upon them. Solution to this perplexity is that Sri Krishna's sense of happiness is limited by the happiness of the gopis. Devotees of Vrindavan therefore try to serve the gopis, namely Radharani and her associates. If one gains the favor of the gopis, he easily gains the favor of Krishna, because on the recommendation of the gopis, Krishna at once accepts the service of a devotee. Lord Chaitanya therefore wanted to please the gopis instead of Krishna, but his contemporaries misunderstood him, and for this reason Lord Chaitanya renounced the order of household life and became a sannyasi. So this is very perplexing, that the gopis, they're not interested in their own pleasure, but their own pleasure increases millions of times. So the only solution is that by seeing Krishna happy, seeing the joy of Krishna, that is their joy. Therefore, it says here, the devotees in Vrindavan, they try to serve the gopis, especially Srimati Radharani. Just like, hardly we ever hear anybody say Krishna, Krishna. They all say Radhe, Radhe. Wherever we go in Braj, everybody says Radhe, Radhe. Even the rickshawala, to tell somebody to move it out of the way. Radhe, Radhe. Radhe, Radhe. Everywhere, Radhe, Radhe. Everyone is... We can't take this cheaply, though. This is... specifically why Bhakti Vinod and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta appeared to correct the injustices that were being done to the movement of Lord Chaitanya. People were taking it in a materialistic way. And the Sahajas were doing all types of nonsense in the name of religion. But this is the real thing. We want to please Radharani. Just like we know one verse from Brihad Naradiya Purana, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalu Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatra. There's another nice verse in Brihad Naradiya Purana. It says, Satyam Satyam Puna Satyam 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 Puna Puna Bina Radha Prasadena Krishna Labhyana Krishna Praptina Labhyate. It's Satyam Satyam Puna Satyam. I'm telling you the truth and the truth. Again and again I tell you the truth. Satyam Satyam Puna Puna. Again and again I'm telling you the truth. Bina Radha Prasadena. Without pleasing Radharani, Krishna Praptina Labhyate. You will not get Krishna consciousness. Therefore we see when we chant Hare. Hare represents Srimati Radharani. We say Radharani first. We're praying to Radharani. Hare, then Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sita Ram. Lakshmi Narayan. Always the Shakti first. Because if we read in Nectar Devotion that Krishna, he's completely under the control of Radharani. So if Radharani recommends this devotee, he or she is doing nice seva, you please accept them. Then Krishna has to accept. He's under the control of Radharani. So this is our goal, that somehow or other we want to please Srimati Radhika, so that she will put in a good word for us with to Krishna. Just like we were telling it yesterday, the Nectar Devotion, Krishna says, that person who says he's my devotee, I don't know who he is. But that person who says he's devotee of my devotee, he's my devotee. So we want to please Srimati Radhika. Because if she recommends, then there's no problem. And best way to please Radharani is to somehow or other please her best devotee. That was Srila Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada, he spread Vrindavan Bhav all over the entire planet. He left with, it's totally amazing when you think about it. He had, what was it, 40 rupees or something? 40 rupees. Of course, nowadays it's nothing. Even in those days it was something. But still it was, in America, that was, 2 minutes kharch. Expenditure of 2 minutes. He had 40 rupees in Srimad Bhagavatam in the order of his spiritual master. That somehow you have to spread this Krishna consciousness. He went to a foreign land. No, not that he, had some contacts there. Well, we had one sort of a contact, but the guy was Gopal Agrawal. He was always giving letters for sadhus to come to, but they never came to his house. They just took his letter and got their visa and came. So that was his only contact. He suddenly ended up at Gopal Agrawal's house in, where's it? Butler, Pennsylvania. Whoever heard of Butler, Pennsylvania? Now it's become famous, They tried to shoot Trump there, so now it's become famous. But whoever heard of Butler, Pennsylvania? He probably went to this far-off place and struggled. He got some invitations to speak something. And then he decided to go to New York. New York is that's Kali Yuga Rajdhani. That's the capital of Kali Yuga. Whatever our 4 regulative principles, breaking them is the daily business of New York City. If you go there, you'll be totally amazed how Prabhupada was sitting in Vrindavan. We all want to go there. It's so nice. We just love Vrindavan. Like I say, even the rickshawala are saying Radhe Radhe. So wonderful place. And Radha Shyam Sundar is so beautiful. Krishna Balaram is so amazing. Prabhupada's Samadhi is so amazing. And everywhere we go is so amazing in Braj. And it's so nice there. I remember one time, the first time, 1974, we had, those days it was called the Mayapur Vrindavan Festival. Now it's just the Mayapur Festival. And Kartik has become our Vrindavan Festival. We spent 2 weeks in Mayapur and 2 weeks in Vrindavan. So we were all staying, now nobody looks at it from the corner of the eye, Fogal Ashram. We were all staying at Fogal Ashram because those days everything was arranged for us. They picked us up at the airport in a bus. We all went to, the bus dropped us at Fogal Ashram. They assigned us a room and everything was taken care of. Now everybody makes their own arrangement. Those days everything was arranged for us. We used to fly together on the same plane. Those days there wasn't this New York Delhi hop. We would fly from New York to London. Then the London devotees would get on the plane. Then we fly to Paris, and some Parisians and the Parisian devotees would get on. Then we fly to Rome. Then the Italian devotees would get on. Then we go to Greece. There wasn't many devotees there, but then we go to Beirut. There was no one there. And then we come to Mumbai, and then we fly to Calcutta. That was a flight. It wasn't this New York Delhi or Chicago Delhi hop like there is nowadays, So we were, practically the whole plane was devotees, so we took over everything. And we were 40,000 feet, we were having kirtans, dancing in the aisles. running up and down and dancing in the aisles, and the poor captain, he was singing, the plane is wobbling like this. His weather radar doesn't show any turbulence. Then the stewardess told him what's going on. And, all right, everyone, please take your seats and fasten your seatbelt. Because the plane was bouncing, we're all jumping up and down and running in the aisles. It was so blissful. Those days were so blissful. So, just remember now, I forgot what I was saying, but anyway. So Prabhupada would speak sometimes at Fogal Ashram. So we were going down to Fogal Ashram, and we saw this couple in front of us, and they were walking funny, And I said, what is this, this Brishvasi couple, they look like they're drunk or something, So I came up behind them, and they were drunk. They were drunk with Radharani's name. They were just singing, Radhe, Radhe, Jai, Jai, Sri Radhe. And they were walking, completely intoxicated, walking funny like this. And Prabhupada went to New York, people also walking. You go to New York, you'll see people also walking like that. But they're not chanting Radharani's name at all. Maybe Johnny Walker's name, but not Radharani. And in Vrindavan, every day you see the cows come and they poke their nose in somebody's doorway, and the lady of the house comes out with whatever greens were left over from chopping up the vegetables, or she brings out a hot chapati and gives it to the cow. Everyone loves the cows. And Prabhupada went to New York. In New York, on every intersection, there's 4 restaurants. What they're serving in those restaurants, in this holy place in front of the Lord, we don't want to say. All we can say is, Go Mata Ki Jai. And if you go to New York, everywhere you see people selling lottery tickets, and they're betting on the races, they're betting on last night they were betting on the cricket game, and India won, so somebody won a lot of money. Everywhere, everybody's gambling, nothing but gambling. And in Vrindavan, we'll see the ladies with their saris over their head and their little thali with their agarbatti and some kumkum and a little banana, going to their favorite temples and worshipping the Lord very chastely. When Prabhupada went to New York City, of course now they've cleaned it up. At that time there was one street, 42nd Street. It was 1 mile, a kilometer and a half, and on both sides of the street, nothing but naked dance shows going on, and naked cinema going on. Whole place like this. But Prabhupada left this sweet Vrindavan, this nice Vrindavan, where everybody worships the cows, the ladies all dressed very chastely, nobody's gambling, nobody's eating horrible things. And he went to this place, New York, where breaking the 4 regular principles is their daily business. We can't imagine, Prabhupada, so much compassion. And it's not that just, I feel so sad, wherever I go, they already have a place for me to stay, and they have nice prasadam and everything. This is just Prabhupada's mercy. I just feel it's Prabhupada's mercy, because the father, he struggles very hard to make a lot of money and buy a nice house and everything, just so the children will be happy. So Prabhupada didn't want us to suffer like him, so he's made, wherever we go in the world, there's a room, there's prasad, there's everything. But Prabhupada went nothing. He was keeping his bhoga in the same refrigerator with unmentionable things. We just can't imagine how he was, because Radharani, she's the most merciful. We read in Nectar Devotion the qualities of Radha. She's the most merciful. Actually, Raghunath Das Goswami, he says, Karunaya vidravad deha. Karuna, we know, means compassion. Karunaya means from compassion. Karunaya vidravad. Vidravad means to melt. And deha, we all know, deha means body. Ordinary persons, their heart melts with compassion, Radharani's whole body melts with compassion. Karunaya vidrava deha. Her whole body melts with compassion. And Prabhupada has kept all those drops of melted Radharani's compassion in his books. And we just had the big Prabhupada marathon. The devotees are going everywhere, sprinkling Radharani's melted compassion on all the fallen souls. Because this is the real Radha Bhav. People want to go and sit in Radhakund and chant. My Vrindakund Baba Madhavdas, he told me so many people, they just go to the Bandara, eat puri and sag, and go home and chant the Zed mantra. This is not Radha Bhav. Radha Bhav, Radharani's always, the devotees are always trying to make arrangements for Radha and Krishna to meet, and Radharani, she's trying to make arrangements for the devotees to meet with Krishna. So this is book distribution. We're trying to get people to meet Krishna, to meet with Krishna. This is the Radha Bhav, not sitting in Radhakund pretending to be a Haridas Thakur or something. This is the real Radha, doing some service. And everything we're doing is related to book distribution. Even the persons who are decorating, we're just amazed every day. We're very thankful to the pujaris here. Every day the lordships are decorated and dressed so nicely. So this is also book distribution, because people will buy the book. They'll see the address, they'll come here, they'll see such beautiful deeds. Wow. They'll see, this is also preaching. Everything we do, we're making nice prasadam, that's also preaching. People, oh, nice prasadam here. Everything is connected with book distribution. You have to see it in that way. And this is Radharani's departure. She's the most merciful. Her whole body melts with compassion. And Prabhupada was so compassionate. He underwent so much difficulty. We can't even imagine all the difficulties he went to. Even he was staying, one fellow gave him Prabhupada a place to stay in the Bowery. The Bowery, of course now they cleaned it up a bit, but that's like, that used to be the bowels of New York. And Mukunda told me, when first time he went to see Prabhupada, somebody told him there's some Swami teaching Sanskrit. Because Prabhupada was quoting verses from Bhagavad-gita, so they thought he's teaching Sanskrit. So he was nearby, so he went down there and he walked, he found the building, and there was all these bums. Now we call homeless, but those days we called them bums. They just drink, and then, you know, if you drink a lot, then it has to come out somewhere. And now you're drunk and you're lazy, so they just go behind the stairway. So the whole place just stank like stale urine. Prabhupada was staying in this place. He said all the way up the stairs, this horrible stench was there. Of course, when Prabhupada would come, the bums, they would stand up and they go, they would, motion like that for Prabhupada to pass. But Mukunda had to step over, they were just sleeping there, he had to step over their bodies and then climb up the stairs. So and Prabhupada, some devotee, some person had left, he got disillusioned in New York, so he left the place, and he said, Swamiji, you can have it. He also left some other boys that you can have it. I already paid the rent for the whole year. You can stay there. So Prabhupada was staying with these crazy hippie boys. They had a process that every day one of them would cook, So when Prabhupada's turn came, then they came next day and said, Swamiji, you think you could cook again today? Prabhupada was cooking for these completely low-class persons who were taking drugs and doing all nonsense things. Till finally one of them, attacked Prabhupada. He was intoxicated and he attacked Prabhupada. Prabhupada ran to the street. Now if you don't know where to go in New York, you're really in trouble. Prabhupada grabbed his things. He didn't know whether to turn left or right or where to go. He just knew he had to get out of this place. Somehow he knew one devotee named Cleaver, who later became Karlapati. He was an Afro-American devotee. He was married with a white girl who did not like Prabhupada at all. But somehow Prabhupada knew his apartment was nearby. He went there and explained he can't stay in that place. So Cleaver said he could stay there, but it was very difficult. Prabhupada was sleeping on the couch, Cleaver and his girlfriend, they're not even married, sleeping in the bedroom. Prabhupada has to go through their bedroom to get to the bath. We can't understand the austerities that Prabhupada went through. I can remember they sent me to LA after I joined in Boulder. It started snowing. The devotees didn't have any money. We didn't have money in those days, so they sent me to LA because they couldn't afford to buy any warm clothes for me to go out on Sankirtan. So I went to LA and I met one devotee from 26 2nd Avenue named Mahaparus. And I was talking with him one time and he said, everybody knew in the Lower East Side that if you went to 26 2nd Avenue around noontime, you got free food. For us, because we were living as hippies, that was a big deal. Free food, oh wow. And it wasn't just ordinary food. They had these special flat little breads called chapatis, and this spicy soup called dal, and the spicy vegetable called sabji, and of course everybody knew rice, So sometimes he would go there to get some free food, And Prabhupada would sit there and he would give him some more chapati, give him more rice, give him more dal, like that. The one day it was so nice just sitting there with Swamiji. He just didn't move, and everybody got up and they're just hippies, so they just, what to speak of washing their hands, and even wash their plates, just throw their plates in the sink and walk out the door. So he was sitting there with Prabhupada and suddenly realized everybody's gone, only Prabhupada is sitting there and him. And he realized, he saw all these dirty pots, he saw all these dirty plates. He said, well, somehow all these things get cleaned so that cooking go on the next day and serving, and all these plates get cleaned. So he said, I'm not here, there's only one other person here who will be doing this. And he thought, gee, maybe I should help him. So he started picking up all the pots, and Prabhupada smiled and said, I was just praying to Krishna to send someone to please kindly help me. This was the compassion of Prabhupada. He had faith, as long as they will chant and they will take prasadam, they'll become purified. These type of people came to our Sunday feast nowadays, we'll give them a plate and say, can you go around back so nobody sees you? Prabhupada was cooking and cleaning up after this type of people. This was his compassion. We can't imagine the compassion of Prabhupada. He is a drop of Radharani's melted body. That's Srila Prabhupada. He's the compassionate Srimati Radharani. We can't imagine. So what time is it? I can't see from here. So we'll leave a little time for, if anybody has any questions, we can try to answer your questions. Where's our Bhakta mic? Huh?
Can you tell something more about the early days? That like when Prabhupada came to New York from Boston, where did he stay and what did he do that time?
Well, first he was staying at there's an organization in America called the YMCA. So he was staying there in the, no, that was after, which was first? He stayed with, somehow he knew this guy, Dr. Misra, who was teaching Mayavad philosophy. So he stayed with him until his typewriter got stolen. Then he stayed in the YMCA, and then finally that boy gave him the Bowery to stay, that Bowery loft to stay. And then finally, because what happened was Cleaver took Prabhupada the next morning to Mukunda's house, because Mukunda was like a leader amongst the people, amongst all the young people at that time. So they said he would know what to do. So he brought, it was Saturday, it was, like 7 o'clock in the morning, which those days for us that was an ungodly hour, We'd wake up at 9 o'clock and people, sun is shining. So and he was in a band, and so they were practicing all day, and they had guitar chords running everywhere and sheet music all over the place and amplifiers. And 7 o'clock in the morning, he got out of bed, he went to the door, it's Cleaver with Prabhupada, and he was just beginning to understand, this is my spiritual master. And Prabhupada saw the bewilderment on his face and told him that it is proper when the spiritual master comes that you offer some fruit. And Prabhupada was afraid to take anything else from, he doesn't know what these people do, So he said, you can offer some fruit. So he woke up not even his wife, his girlfriend Janaki, woke up Janaki, go cut up some fruit, And then Prabhupada sat down. And America means TV. Even my mother, she had TV in the ceiling, mounted in the ceiling, so she can lie in bed and watch TV and just fall asleep, and TV's going. Everything is with TV. Even if friends come over, you watch the TV, then the commercial comes in, you talk a little bit, and with greater jnana than the yogis, you look at this boob. We called it the boob tube. In those days it was a big tube. Now it's all digital and everything. So he immediately turned on the TV. It was Saturday morning. It must have been something like Mighty Mouse or something on the TV. And Prabhupada just looks and says, this is nonsense. And Mukunda said in one motion, he jumped off the couch and turned on, yes, Swamiji, this is nonsense. Then the cat jumped in Prabhupada's lap, and Prabhupada went, whack! So then Cleaver started telling, this happened, this boy attacked Prabhupada, and Swamiji, he has to find another place. And he kept repeating the same mantra that you have to do something. He said, you have to do something, you have to do something. And so, so finally he said, what do you think we should do? And he said, Prabhupada looked at him. He said, if I close my eyes, I can still see Prabhupada looking at me. He saw straight through me. And I didn't know what to do, but, Mukunda said, I didn't know what to do, but I just said, yes, we'll do something, So then they found that 26th 2nd Avenue storefront. So they arranged a meeting with the owner, and they came there. And the owner, he's just a regular old, American guy, blue jeans and a blue denim jacket, and probably drinks beer and watches football all Saturday morning, But seeing Prabhupada, he was very respectful, he held the chair for Prabhupada, he called him Your Excellency, and the devotees were preaching, and he was just, because he was in awe of Prabhupada, so he was politely listening. He wasn't really absorbing it, but the devotees got excited because he was listening so nicely. So then they said, and and now you'll know you missed out. For just $20 a month, you can become a life member of our society. And the owner said, how about if we knock $20 off the rent? It was $200, but they made it $180, And then Prabhupada signed and gave him some of those old red Bhagavatams. And he said, it's an ordinary American guy, but somehow by Prabhupada's influence, but I'm not worthy to accept this gift, He said, no, you take. Prabhupada gave him a signed copy of those old red Bhagavatams. Those are priceless nowadays, And so then they got this place, 26th 2nd Avenue. But it was just an empty storefront, They took some, those plastic crates that they bring the milk in, they just turned them upside down, put an old rug on top of it, and that was Prabhupada's Vyasasan. And place was completely empty. Then, the Mott Street crew started coming around, Umapati and everyone. And they had been to India. So they thought, let us fix up this place, So they had all these Indian bedspreads that they brought from Jaipur, tree of life ones and tie-dye ones, and started hanging them on the walls, and they put bells everywhere. And whatever they had brought back from India, they were decorating the place. And then some other boys came, and they looked at this, and they said, what are you doing? This is nonsense. This is Maya. He says, no, we're decorating this temple for Krishna. No, Swamiji says we just take what's necessary. This is not necessary. This is Maya. He says, no, we're decorating the temple for Krishna. This was the first ISKCON politics. So I guess Prabhupada heard some noise was going on. So Prabhupada came down and he looked around and his eyes got very big like a little boy. And he looked all around the room and he saw everything. And he gave the verdict. This is Krishna consciousness. That they were decorating the temple for Prabhupada. This is Krishna consciousness. He gave the verdict. In fact, when I became a devotee, that was we heard that very often. Sometimes by accident we do something right, because we never did anything right on purpose. But by accident we do something right, and our older devotees, older God brothers, say, oh, this is Krishna consciousness. They used to say like that. Now we don't hear that anymore. Whenever we did something by accident right, they say, oh, this is Krishna consciousness. And they put all these posters around too that they brought back. So Prabhupada went around, he said, the demigod ones, he told to take this one down. Then there was one poster, they didn't know what Prabhupada was going to say about this. They didn't know what it was. It was a cat or what is it, And Prabhupada came and he looked, he said, oh, this is Hanuman. He's a great devotee of Lord Ram. This is a great devotee of Lord And somehow they had it was not very easy to find, but somehow they had a picture of Sadbhuj. And Prabhupada came to that picture, and they were waiting, what's Swamiji going to say about this one, And Prabhupada said, oh, this is Lord Chaitanya. And because Prabhupada had mentioned, sometimes in his lectures about about Chaitanya Charitamrit, he said, this is Lord Chaitanya. He said, yes, see 2 arms Krishna, 2 arms Rama, and 2 arms Lord Chaitanya. This is Sadbhuj. So those are the early days. Because Mukunda, when I was president of Portland, Mukunda used to live near Portland. He used to come and he would tell me all these wonderful stories that nobody knows. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? Mars has anything to add?
Just thank you for this flow of nectar. Thank you for this flow of nectar. Yeah, it was really
it's just Prabhupada's mercy.
Encouraging and enlivening and enlightening. So, yes, it's Prabhupada's mercy coming to us through you. Hare Krishna.
So there's no other questions, and we can all fall down at the very soft and wonderful lotus feet of the great personality who was so compassionate, but still being compassionate upon it. Srila Prabhupada ki. All right, you can say something. I can't.
You want me to say?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.